Hello and welcome our beloved viewers to RTD's News English Edition. As usual, we bring to you the major and top highlights of tonight. Let's follow. The Ministry of Communication sponsors the official launch ceremony of Afri Fiber. And on the international scene, no suspension for Vinicius closed uh, against in Valencia. Those were the major and top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The Prime Minister, His Excellency Mr. Abdul Ghadir Kamil Mohammed, received today in the Lounge of Honor of the Primacy the representative of the World Bank in Djibouti, Mr. Boubacar Said Bari. The representative of the World Bank gave the Prime Minister a report on the progress of cooperation between the Republic of Djibouti and the World Bank. During the discussions, the Prime Minister pleaded for the dynamics to be further accentuated in order to harmonize and strengthen even more the cooperation between Djibouti and the World Bank Group. The Director of the Cabinet of the Prime Minister, Mr. Yusuf Aouled, attended the meeting between the Prime Minister and the representative of the World Bank in Djibouti to present and sensitize the National Assembly on the initiatives, challenges and prospects of geothermal energy. These are the essence of objective of the parliamentary workshop that was held today, Wednesday, May 24th, 2023, in the National Representation initiated jointly by the President of the National Assembly, His Excellency Mr. Deleta Mohammed Deleta, and the Ministry of Energy. This parliamentary workshop on geothermal energy has focused on public measures taken by the structures of the state and the power public sector to accelerate the advent of an era of renewable energy at lower cost. Following the launching speech of the President of the National Assembly and the introductory remarks of the Ministry of Energy in charge of natural resources, Mr. Yunus Ali Gaidi, the deputies who came in large numbers and all poetic affinity were able to take advantage of the participation of officials, social bodies, including general managers of ADD and ODEC, as well as the Director General of CERD. Thus, the members of the National Assembly were able to benefit from explanations and technical lessons provided by the guests of the national representation, in whose guests, through their expertise, is to enable the Republic of Djibouti to glean eventually an energy independence and access to electricity at lower cost for its citizens. After detailed presentation provided by experts, Parliament members have subsequently asked many questions relating to the challenge of sustainable electricity. In addition, they were interested in the various phases of the projects. Shifting gears now, as part of efforts to strengthen the telecommunication sector in Djibouti, the Minister of Communication in charge of Posts and Telecommunications, Mr. Radwan Abdullahi Badon, sponsored this morning at the Campeski Palace Hotel a ceremony dedicated to the launch of the company Afri Fiber, specializing in the field of internet and connectivity. This ceremony took place in the presence of several ministers as well as the Secretary General of the Presidency, Mr. Mohammed Abdullahi Waes, and the CEO of AfriFiber, Mr. Rian Remak. The event was also attended by members of the diplomatic corps and businessmen, such as heads of companies and commercial institutions on the national scene. The mission of AfriFiber, which is a world-class company, is to develop skills and knowledge in the field of new technologies for high-speed fiber optic data services. The launch of this ceremony, specialized in the field of internet and connectivity, comes after the completion of the construction of its network in the city center, which will cover about 270 buildings and will also extend the coverage to other areas and neighborhoods.
After a journey of 2 years as a local Djiboutian company based in Haramus, to have achieved this milestone here today. Our mission is to build AfriFiber into a world-class company with local employees and develop the necessary skills and knowledge in the technology space for fiber optic networks.
I am truly honored to be welcoming you here today to the launch of AfriFiber, a state-of-the-art fiber optic network that is providing internet services to businesses and consumers in the Republic of Djibouti. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to all the other esteemed dignitaries who have graced us with their presence and support over the past few years. The government of Djibouti, under the leadership of His Excellency the President, is executing Vision 2035, a clear roadmap developed by the government to raise per capita income through diversification of the economy and investment in human capital.
Sidelines of the annual meetings of the African Development Bank held in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, the minister held talks with Mr. Abdullah al-Dardari from Syria, Assistant Secretary General and Director of the Regional Bureau for Arab States of the United Nations Development Program UNDP, to discuss ways and means of strengthening relations between the Republic of Djibouti and the UNDP. The minister thanked the UNDP Regional Director for Arab States for the long-standing fruitful partnership since 1979 with the Republic of Djibouti. He praised UNDP's responsiveness in mobilizing resources and engagement with the government from the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, especially through the Rising Djibouti project, which has helped many entrepreneurs, young especially. It was agreed that UNDP could continue to strengthen its support to the socio-economic development of Djibouti, particularly in the context of climate finance and the resilience of the most affected communities. The Ministry of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble Abdillah, accompanied by a delegation, took part in the 76th World Health Assembly, which began on Sunday, May 21 in Geneva. This meeting was attended by Mrs. Khadra Ahmed Hassan, Ambassador of Djibouti in Geneva, and Mr. Ali Abdullah, advisor to the Geneva mission. At the head of the ordinary session of the first day, the Minister of Health of Djibouti, who was the president of the World Health Assembly for a year of 2020-2023, passed the baton for the new president. Indeed, under the terms of Article 25 of its rules of procedure, at each ordinary session, the Health Assembly elects a president and 5 vice presidents who will hold these functions until the election of their successors. This year, 2023, marks the 75th anniversary of WHO, and WHA will determine the essential role that WHO plays in the current and future health systems of member countries. In his speech, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble, thanked the Director General of WHO and the Regional Director of WHO for their support during his presidency and highlighted the progress made during this year, and particularly the COVID-19 era. This Wednesday, May 24th, the premises of the International Escale Hotel hosted at the end of the 2-day work of experts in youth and sports, the meeting of ministers of the 7 member countries of the Commission of Youth and Sport of the Indian Ocean. This meeting began with the speeches of the chairperson of session, Mrs. Begeta Genevol of Seychelles, thanked the minister, Dr. Hibo, for the warm welcome in the Republic of Djibouti and for the mobilization of its staff, followed by word of the Secretary General of CJSOI, Mr. Ashok Sheft, and the minister also, who expressed the availability of the Republic of Djibouti through the ministry and ensured the unwavering support that the ministry provides to the Commission. This meeting took place within the framework of the preparations of the next games for the CJSOI, which will take place in 2025. It is in this context of organization that Dr. Hibu Mumin Asowe held a video conference with the director of the SED in the presence of experts and representatives of the member countries of the CJSOI in order to analyze the reports provided by the experts. Organized a workshop for the Islamic Institute of Djibouti affiliated to our beloved viewers, and workshop validation adoption of the national strategy of the blue economy from 23 to 24 May 2023 was held at Sunny Hill Center in Arta. This workshop was chaired by the Secretary General of the Environment, Mr. Dini Abdullah Umar, saw the participation of representatives of different departments and several actors. Indeed, the national strategy of the blue economy allows Djibouti to mobilize resources to develop economy of this sector. It is the result of a national consultation process with all stakeholders related to this theme. Also, this strategy is oriented towards the better of the participants. The Islamic Institute of Djibouti, affiliated to the Imam Muhammad bin Saud Islamic University of Saudi Arabia, organized a ceremony dedicated to the graduation of the 4th class of students from the academic departments of the institute. The ceremony took place in the Great Hall of the People's Palace. The Minister of Muslim Affairs and Waqfs, Mu'min Hassan Bari, and the Director of the Islamic Institute, Dr. Khalid Al-Najimi, participated in this important event. In addition to 10 faculty members and resident gratitudes handed over certificates to the various students who completed their secondary and university studies. The ceremony was crowned by a series of speeches, including that the Director of the Islamic Institute of Djibouti, who emphasized the role played by the Saudi Institute to continue the pace of the government's efforts to to promote Arab education in the Republic of Djibouti. Imam Muhammad bin Saud, the Islamic University since inception, has paid special attention to the Arabic language and Sharia science in education and dissemination, not only within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Muslim children and others learn the Arabic language, strengthen its position in souls, and receive Islamic knowledge from its original and pure source. They have the opportunity to receive education in general section for boys and girls in its intermediate and secondary levels, or in the university section with its various academic specializations. Under the supervision of the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, Al Irshad School celebrated yesterday the 45th anniversary of establishment, coinciding with the graduation of the 29th class of terminal students, called the Class of Excellence, as well as the closure of student activities for the academic year of 21-2022. The ceremony took place in an atmosphere of joy and jubilation in the Great Hall of People's Palace, in the presence of high-level dignitaries, including the Ambassador of Djibouti in the Republic of Yemen, Mr. Muhammad Ali Isa, the former Ambassador of Djibouti in Kuwait, Mr. Muhammad Ali Mu'min, and others. The event, which came after months of preparations, was also attended by members of the educational and administrative bodies of the school, directors of our private schools, but also parents and hundreds of students. The double celebration, including a welcome song, theatrical scenes, and poems, as well as a parade of gratitude, who successfully completed their high school education after years of vigilance and discipline. Highlighted the different stages that the school has grown to. Moving towards the region of unity now, Dakhil, following the activities of the week of the Festival of Unity, a conference and debates with the private sector, small emerging businesses in the region, and agricultural cooperatives was held this morning at the headquarters of the Regional Council. This workshop was chaired by the President of the Regional Council of Dakhil, Mr. Mahad Hussein Ahmed, and the Deputy Prefect, Mr. Idris Hussein Abbas, the Secretary General of the Regional Council, Mr. Abdullah Muhammad Hassan, and as well as local elected officials in the region. Also took part in this event farmers, cooperatives, and artisans cluster of the 5 regions of the USAID project by the Kazian Company and young emerging entrepreneurs in the region. This workshop was facilitated by the technical coordinator of the environment of Kazian Company, Mr. Ali Dimbio, and was initiated by a training session followed by group work. Shifting gears towards the international scene now, the Spanish Soccer Federation announced Tuesday that Vinicius, a victim of racist insults during the Real Madrid-Valencia match on Sunday, would not be suspended despite his red card. The Brazilian will be able to play against this Wednesday against Rayo Vallecano at the Bernabeu for the 36th day of the La Liga. In addition, the Mario Kempes stand of the Mestalla Stadium in Valencia, where the racist insults came from, will be closed as a penalty for 5 matches. In addition, Spanish police announced the arrest of these people in Valencia suspected of using racist slurs against Real Madrid striker Vinicius Jr. during Sunday's league match. Well, by this, our blood viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.